Hi, I'm Joe Parcell with the College of Ag, Food, and Natural Resources of the University of Missouri. Welcome to this segment of Take One for Ag. Joining me today is Dr. Jon Simonsen, Associate Professor of Ag Education and Leadership here at the University of Missouri. Jon, welcome to Take One for Ag segment here. You got some recent research that you had published, pretty hot topic, not just with students, but with professionals in general, and that's around leadership. A lot of times we think of, the kind of traditional way is think of leadership as a soft skill, but I tend to think of it as more an essential skill. So I'm going to refer to it as an essential skill, if you're okay with that. So let's kind of jump in. So tell us a little bit, why is leadership an important, essential skill?
Well, we always hear from employers when they're trying to hire employees that they can often teach them those technical skills and kind of get them up to speed. But what they're really looking for are those essential skills, or sometimes called soft skills, that include communication, teamwork, but one of the big ones that's always mentioned is leadership skills. And so, if an employer is able to hire an employee that has those, it's a real benefit to that business or that organization.
Jon, yourself and a colleague recently studied socially responsible leadership. Tell us a little bit about socially responsible leadership and how it differs from the broader view or the general view of leadership in general.
Well, yeah, so traditionally, leadership has been looked at as kind of a top-down approach where you hold a position and then that puts authority over other individuals. As time has changed and things have evolved, this socially responsible leadership really gets to the point of leadership can come from all areas within a business or within an organization. It doesn't have to have a title attached to it. And the other part of it is that it's really about making an impact or making change happen within a business or organization.
So Jon, in the study you studied or surveyed CAFNR juniors and seniors, and you looked at their involvement in organizations, community service, and leadership education courses, and how those help to define those social responsible leadership qualities. So tell us a little bit about what you found.
Yes, we surveyed junior age students in CAFNR, and what we found was that most of them were involved in student organizations, actually 2 to 5 organizations or activities. The catch with that, though, is that they were only moderately actually engaged in it. So it may have been something that, they were doing, but they weren't really engaged in it, maybe not benefiting from that organization or that activity, to the potential that they could. The other piece was from a service standpoint. Many of them said that they have done some service within the community or donated time, that type of thing, but it was very limited. And the third part was the whole social responsibility piece of it. How do they view themselves in that spectrum? And most of them felt that they were pretty confident in that being socially responsible.
Wow, that's good. That's good. So maybe you picked up a few things out of this survey. How would you translate this into helping others develop programs and stuff to help other students in those leadership areas?
Well, yeah, so colleges and schools have a tremendous potential to influence students and to be able to put together programming that really helps develop those leadership skills and those socially responsible leadership skills. Actually, some colleagues and I actually have dug in even further into the student organizations piece of it. Seeing that students were involved in student organizations, but maybe not to the level that we would hope. And so we spent last semester actually working with a lot of students here on campus and trying to, like I said, dig deeper and peel back some of those layers as far as, what are they looking for in student organizations, or how does that play out? And so some of the initial findings, students really want to see a benefit in that organization or that activity, which, makes sense when you think about it. But the thought is, maybe what we think as program developers are the benefits may not actually be what the students are looking for, and there's kind of a disconnect there a little bit with those. The other piece that's come out of it is that the culture and the atmosphere around that organization, that student organization or those activities, is huge. And so it needs to match what the students are looking for, and vice versa in that. So there's tremendous potential to make sure that those experiences are really tailored to what the student is looking for, and then also develops that socially responsible leadership.
Well, Jon, it sounds like you're whetting our appetite, like there might be more to come, a letter segment here. So real quick here, maybe end this up, one last thing we want to highlight is, here in the Ag Education and Leadership program at the University of Missouri, several opportunities for leadership classes, Lytton Leaders, Scholars. You want to highlight a couple of those classes in the program?
Yeah,
there?
you bet. We've got a handful of classes that deal with leadership, from individual leadership, personal development, to leading teams and organizations. How do you lead change? You alluded to the Lytton program. We facilitate the Lytton Leadership Scholars, which is really based around not just developing the next group of leaders, but how do they then develop the next generation of leaders from them. So the mentorship piece and really trying to get that ripple effect.
Cool.
So
cool.
yeah, a lot of great things going on.
Well, I thank you, Jon. So, and to our viewers, I want to thank you for joining us in this segment of Take One for Ag. If you want to see past episodes of Take One for Ag, go to the YouTube page and search Take One for Ag. Thank you.